spotlight. Sir, go ahead.
Thank you so much po. MP Albaida, Vice Mayor po ng munisipyo na minsang hiniling na ipamigay ni Senator Marcoleta from the municipality of Kalayaan. Yan po. Just to say so po,
How did you feel, by the way, when you heard that?
while we were asked by the national media about it, we say that it should be stricken off the record. So, after that, binash na po kami ng local media doon, ng isang local media. But it's okay. For the matter that my very friend here says about the local government to streamline, the local government of Kalayaan passed a resolution supporting a curriculum of the bridging concept of the West Philippine Sea in the lives of the Filipino people. So dahil po doon, siguro po dahil taga Mimoro pa rin si Admiral Tariel at taga Mimoro pa rin po ako. According to the Octa research, tama po ba? Pinakamataas po ang Mimaropa sa mga gustong depensahan ang West Philippine Sea with 93%. So these are still local, nasa region pa rin po siya. So of course, it is a national issue for the 2028 national election, which after 2028, hindi po namin alam if the municipality of Kalayaan would still exist. So what could be the national trajectory of contextualizing the lesson of the West Philippine Sea to the very fiber of our society? We already have the curriculum in grades 4, grade 6, grade 10 regarding the West Philippine Sea. How about the other sectors from all walks of life of Filipino people? Yan po. That's my first question. How are we going to contextualize it? There's already, wala po tayong scarcity when it comes to information of knowledge. We have the Transparency Initiative. Second question po, while we are strengthening our transparency initiatives, how do we make, on the other hand, make China accountable for the measurable damages that they have made? Say, for example, environmental degradation. Militia vessel ran aground in Pag-asa Island last June 2025, costing around 11.1 million pesos. Na ngayon, hindi pa rin po natin nasisingil. Or the result of the piracy they have done in broad daylight. In Pag-asa Island, when they have run aground, it's not just a shoal or a reef that they have run aground. That reef is a traditional fishing ground of our fisher folks who might have caught decent fish catch for their family, for the table, for every family.
Yeah.
And if you're just going to put it in the national threshold, kumbaga, if the West Philippine Sea madadala natin sa bawat tahanan, shared values or shared interest, food security, it's a gut issue. Hindi po natin pwedeng ilayo sa atin pong sikmura ang West Philippine Sea. Energy security and etc. Kapag meron po tayong shared interest, meron tayong shared vision, tamang pananaw, at pag meron tayong tamang pananaw, shared action, meron po tayong tamang galaw. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, sir. Clearly, it's an existential issue for you guys. The question on environmental damages, I think Justice Carpio has talked about filing another case precisely for that reason. Could you elaborate on that, Justice Carpio? And also the question on how to contextualize the story, the lessons from the West Philippine Sea so that it resonates. Secretary Llamas and Professor Rai, those two questions for you. Let's start with Justice Carpio.
Yes, I have long advocated that the Philippines should bring China to an UNCLOS tribunal for damage to the marine ecosystem in the West Philippine Sea, and also for the tribunal to fix the common fishing rules on Scarborough Shoal, because the tribunal in the award of 2016 declared the territorial sea of Scarborough Shoal as a common fishing ground among Vietnamese, Chinese, and Filipino fishermen. But there are no rules, and China is dictating everything. China has extended the exclusion zone up to about 30 nautical miles now. The territorial sea is only 12. Our fishermen cannot enter starting 30 nautical miles away from Scarborough Shoal. So we have to go back to the tribunal to get the tribunal to adopt or to prescribe the common fishing rules, so our fishermen can fish in Scarborough Shoal, but that has not been done. So our fishermen are actually excluded up to 30 nautical miles. Uh, there are many things, and for me, the most pressing problem now is we might be guilty of abandoning the Arbitral Award. We're celebrating today the 10th anniversary, but the Arbitral Award is forever. It cannot be reversed, amended, or abandoned unless the Philippines commits gross ignorance of the law or gross negligence. Because under international law, there is such a thing as doctrine of unilateral declaration. When President Duterte arrived from Brunei, when he was a president in 2017, in Davao, he announced that I am setting aside the Arbitral Award. To set aside means to abandon, to reverse. So I had to call Secretary Enrique Manalo in the middle of the night, and I told him that is an abandonment under the doctrine of unilateral declaration. And if China accepts that, we're done. The Arbitral Award is abandoned. So I said, before China accepts, you have to clarify that that is not what President Duterte said, that what he was really saying was that he will put aside the Arbitral Award and raise it at the proper time in the future. He's not abandoning it. And fortunately, Secretary Manaro made the clarification, and a few hours later, China accepted Duterte's unilateral declaration, but it was too late. No? We were able to change that. But it's happening again. Under the doctrine of acquiescence, if China says that there are no high seas in the South China Sea, and we do not protest, then we are deemed to have agreed with China impliedly if we do not protest within a reasonable period. And what China has done recently, when it ratified the High Seas Treaty, it made a written declaration that the High Seas Treaty does not apply to the South China Sea or to areas within maritime zones claimed by China under its sovereignty, jurisdiction, or sovereign rights.
Right.
So in effect, China denies that there are high seas in the South China Sea. But of course, the world knows there are high seas.
Yeah.
And the tribunal said the EEZ of China and the EEZ of Philippines do not overlap. Therefore, there are high seas in between because the high seas start at the edge of the exclusive economic zone. So naturally, there are high seas in the South China Sea between the EEZ of the Philippines and the EEZ of China. But China is now saying there are no high seas. We have to protest that. If we don't protest, then we would have acquiesced to China's claim. And we will lose our right to fish in the high seas. Today, Filipino fishermen can fish in the high seas of the South China Sea. It's a common fishing ground for all
Right.
mankind.
Right. So
It's
the
part
window,
of the global commons. But if we don't protest, we will lose that. Thank you.
the window is closing. Thank you so much, Justice Carpio, Secretary Llamas, and then Professor Rai.
I would just like to emphasize what Senator Trillanes said earlier. The battle is for 2028. Ex-President Digong said it emphatically 7 years ago. What's wrong with being a province of China? That will be the decision point in 2028. Everything is not as important.
Hindi mo naman sinagot yung tanong. Okay, kay Professor Rai na lang.
Yeah, I think just to re-emphasize the points, no, and then add one more point. What am I going to add? There's so many initiatives being done at the local level and even at the civil society level. What seems to be the challenge right now is that not that we don't have a consensus, is that the coordinating problem, the problem is with government. We have an EO 57, which Admiral Tariela, I think you know this, no? We have an operating framework in government that coordinates all these
Which
councils.
established the National Maritime Council.
Yes. I think we need to review it because what's lacking now is initiative from above. I mean, a basic question is in government, let's say a website, can I go to understand issues about the West Philippine Sea? It's almost, you can't find that website. You may find it in the statements of Admiral Tarriera or the different advocates, but we need to build that kind of, platform to inform our citizens. Okay, and number two, the way to coordinate cannot be now using the same EO. We need to change it so that the coordination is more proactive and more responsive to the needs of, let's say, local governments. A last point, and I want to emphasize what the Ateneo professor was trying to say. I think, and emphasize what all of Senator Trillanes and Secretary Liam said. I think the ballot is is very important in 2020. We need to identify who are the chinadors, no, who are those who advocate, no, interests against our own interests as a country. And it is going to be an election issue. It might not be the most prominent one, but based on our survey results, at least a quarter of our population think it's important and will vote for somebody who will champion it, whether it's a senator or a party list, initiative. These things have to be conceptualized by organizations like WPS, setting up, organizing individuals and communities
Right.
to make them more politically, vibrant and active. Because this is an issue that is important to the life of our country, and it's something we need to confront.
It's a battle for 2028. Everyone seems to agree. Closing points and questions first to